The Red Sox finally get the galvanizing win. They come back from 5 runs down on Saturday. Raffy Devers, walk-off home run. The vibes are immaculate. And they just piss it all down their leg again on Sunday. They lose another series. That's 3 of the last 4 home series they've lost. And they get crushed, actually, 10-4 to Atlanta. A game they were down 3-0, hit a grand slam, took a 4-3 lead, and then 6 unanswered runs, and the game is over. If it's not one thing, it's another for the Red Sox. And right now, it's all of it. It's all of the things. It's everything. And it's just frustrating to watch when you know that there are resources. There are players that are ready to come up and play for this team and help this thing out. And the Red Sox aren't going to them yet. Let's talk about that in a second. First off, let's talk about the team that's actually out there. Because outside of Raffy Devers and Bregman, but really these last 2 weekends outside of Raffy Devers, you've had nothing offensively. Nothing. Bregman had a good series in Detroit. He kind of fell off a little bit in this series. But outside of those 2 guys I'll give you, you're getting really nothing. And you've still not figured out first base. You waited, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks after Tristan Casas got hurt for you to actually start having somebody take ground balls at first base. And who knows when Kristian Campbell's going to come in, because Cora then says, oh, everybody we put out there gets hurt, so we're going to have to wait. Okay, so you're just going to get more Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro, and you're still going to get an absolute albatross in the cleanup spot. It's from Rob Bradford, EEI.com. That cleanup spot is atrocious. They have had a combined OPS of 518 in the cleanup spot, your best power hitter spot. That's way, way, way the worst in Major League Baseball. The next worst group is the Rangers at 572. 54 points ahead of the Red Sox OPS in the cleanup spot. And despite what the fans behind me at the Cubs game said yesterday, 518 is a bad OPS. The guy behind me was so convinced that a guy with a 702 OPS was just knocking the cover off the ball. Yeah. So they would have loved this cleanup spot for the Red Sox. But you look at this and you were really banking on 2 guys who were hurt most of last year to be big parts of the lineup this year, right? Tristan Casas and Trevor Story. Obviously, Casas is out for the year. He was pretty ass before he got hurt, and Trevor Story doesn't look like a major league hitter. His OPS, 618. He's had 11 hits in the last 22 games. 1 extra base hit in 3 friggin' weeks. 1 extra base hit, 33 strikeouts, and 89 at-bats. That's brutal, man. Fucking brutal. And the pitching isn't much better because the starting pitching was supposed to be much better going into this year. Has been, spinning wheels would be giving them a compliment, right? You go out and you get Crochet. He has been as advertised. He's been excellent. He's shoved for you. Outside of that, you thought you had a pretty damn good rotation. All-star, Tanner Houck. Brayan Bello was going to come back into this thing. Giolito was back. Walker Buehler bounced back year. Of course, he's been hurt. He's going to be back next week, apparently. He's been hit or miss. And you were going to get Cutter Crawford at some point as a spot starter. And yet the best starter that you've had outside of Garrett Crochet has been Hunter Dobbins, who was roughed up his last time out. Tanner Houck, abysmal, one of the worst starting pitchers in the league. Brayan Bello, again, pissed it down his leg yesterday. Their whole team ERA for starters stands at 4.45. A hearty 24th out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball. So far, you were supposed to have a better lineup. Wrong. You haven't. You're supposed to have better starting rotation. Wrong. Your weakness was going to be the bullpen. Still a weakness. There's no facet of this game other than base running and really stolen bases because they still make outs on the base paths that has improved for the Red Sox since the start of 2024. You got to ask the long, hard questions about your coaches. I know it comes down to the players in baseball more than anything, but you don't fire the players. Pete Fatsy, why can only 2 guys in the lineup hit? Where's the approach? Where am I seeing the approach? Putting the ball in play, which they can't do. They're the worst team in the league with runners in scoring position. Or Andrew Bailey. You fix the philosophy, quote unquote. Fix the philosophy. Why do your starters have the 24th best ERA in the majors? Why can Brayan Bello still not figure it out? What's the deal? Why can Lucas Giolito have 2 good starts, 2 bad ones? Why can Tanner Houck have a couple decent starts in between 2 of the worst in Red Sox history? What does he do here? How has he improved this rotation at all? They're worse than last year right now. They're worse. And they were a mid-team last year. They were 81-81. And as is all great things with the Red Sox, good or bad, my dad, who's been watching this team for 60 years, usually sums it up pretty perfectly. He says, Red Sox are a mess. Bottom third of the order belongs in Worcester. Top of the Worcester order belongs in Boston. Starting pitching, terrible. Bullpen looks great when it's protecting a 6-run deficit, but terrible when it's trying to hold a lead. But that Worcester point, I think we need to get to. The bottom third of the order belongs in Worcester. The top of the Worcester order belongs in Boston. And that's what's been frustrating for a month here. Because you're about to hit that Memorial Day milestone where you really start to pay attention to the standings in Major League Baseball, where you get your first kind of measuring stick of where you're at. That's a week from today. It's like, when are you going to bring these kids up? They're not going to cover off the ball in Worcester. They don't need to be in Worcester anymore. You could have argued they didn't need to be in Worcester to start the season. But the only thing I can think of right now is the service time and them saving money by keeping them down in the minors a couple more weeks while their team in the majors, the team that they're spending money on, continues to flounder. And they're now 2 games under 500. They're 4 or 5 games back behind the Yankees in the division, when the rest of the division outside of those 2 teams has shown they're not very good. The Red Sox are missing on big-time opportunities. They weren't playing good teams. Detroit's the only good team they've played the last couple. Well, Kansas City was hot. But they had the easiest the easiest schedule in baseball going into that Kansas City series. Atlanta was a team that's just like you. They started the season 0 billion, and they're 500. They're now above 500 because of you. They needed a get-back series, and they got it because they played you in your home ballpark. For me, get Kristian Campbell at first base as soon as possible. Marcelo Meyer, come play second. Actually, really, come play shortstop. Rather have him in the lineup than Trevor Story. But the fact that Story and Hamilton are getting at bats where Marcelo Meyer is hitting in Worcester, it's unacceptable, man. This is the most frustrating part about the Red Sox right now. They suck. They have obvious holes. They're not getting better in from last year, and they're refusing to give you an easy fix. If they bring up these kids, does it mean they're going to win the pennant? I don't know. But you have other guys in the system that look Major League ready, that can give you a different look than Trevor Story or David Hamilton or Abraham Toro. And you're just not doing it. You're just letting them waste away in Worcester. Well, we pay some of the most expensive tickets, if not the most expensive tickets in baseball, to watch this team just blow it all the time. They're not a better home team. They're not a better defensive team. They're not a better pitching team. They're not a better offensive team than last year. None of those things. And so what you get is a 500 team. And if they win tomorrow, they'll be a 500 team. But that's what makes this unwatchable right now. They can't win close games, and they refuse to bring up the best players in their pipeline, the best players in anybody's pipeline. That's what makes the Red Sox so insufferable right now. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Who is to blame for this and why? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're frustrated with the Red Sox or if you think the Red Sox can turn it around. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. Check out the other videos on the channel talking Red Sox and everything Boston sports. We're live on YouTube 5 days a week at high noon Eastern time. And then we're available wherever you get your podcasts. So a special thank you to Zach. Special thank you to all those teams failing this weekend that gave me a lot of Failure Monday content. And we will see you tomorrow on another episode of a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.